everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you just so happen to be stopping by for the very first time, hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Donella, and this of course is my little world of makeup right here. So for this video, we are going to be focusing on our blending techniques, and blending techniques particularly for your foundation, your concealer, and your powders. Now recently, it might have been like a week or two ago, I did post some makeup products that I applied to my face. It wasn't working, and some persons were wondering why I applied 2 translucent powders and then I applied the all over face powder afterwards. And those 2 translucent powders would have been this, of course, this is probably one of the OGs, the Sacha Buttercup powder, and then the instant retouch powder from Fenty Beauty. This one is in the shade Banana. And I told them, I was trying to explain to them, but then they were like, you know what, it's probably better if you actually create a video and show us, because visuals are always better than actually talking things out. And I totally agree. So I decided to sit down and film my current routine in terms of how I apply my complexion products, especially since it's so I'm in the place the hot, man. I'm in the place the hot. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I apply these 2 translucent powders to highlight my under eye area, and also how I use this black Opal soft velvet finishing powder as an all over face powder. So if you are interested in seeing how I achieve my flawless complexion makeup application, wow, that's really loud, then please stay tuned. All right, so let's just jump straight into this. First things first, we have to go get ourselves all primed up. So I'm going to be going in with my LA Girl Pro Prep High Definition Smoothing Face Primer. You guys know this is like a long time favorite of mine, and I'm just going to go into the areas where I know I tend to sweat a lot, which is like this area right here, and then I'm just going to take the excess, put it around the perimeter of my face. For foundation, I'm going to be using my Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer, and this is in the shade SX50. It's basically a foundation and a concealer in one. If you guys already noticed, I've already spread a little bit over my face, and I'm just going to use my Sigma P89 brush to kind of blend the area out a bit. And this is like a full coverage, baby, so trust me, I do not need any more. Then I'm going to go in with my NYX Beauty Sponge, and I love this sponge. Like, I didn't even know I had this sponge like in my drawer for like quite a while now. And you guys know I've been obsessed with my beauty blenders and then my Juno sponge, but one day I found it and I was like, look, I need to start using these sponges. Like, I have a ton of sponges from different beauty brands. Basically almost everybody has a beauty sponge now. NYX has sponges, Maybelline has sponges, Dose of Colors has sponges, Real Technique has sponges, Black Opal has sponges. Everybody has sponges pretty much, but I love using this. Like, I fell in love with this just the other day because I love the flat area right here, and it actually helps me to blend out my foundation a bit faster. Usually with the beauty blender and those that have the circular bottom area, it takes a little bit more time for you to blend out your foundation. But with this flat area right here, I can pretty much just blend out a wider area, but just with less tapping. Pretty much use whatever foundation you're comfortable with using, especially now during these hot months. I kind of like to switch it up sometimes just to see which foundation is going to hold up best in these hot months. All right, next I'm going to go in with my Black Opal True Even Concealer and Brighten Under Eye Concealer, and this concealer is like almost, if it's not exactly my skin's complexion. I love to just put in the under eye area and just create kind of like a, I don't know what shape this is, right there on my forehead, and then I apply just a little bit on my chin, and then I go in with my NYX sponge. I'm going to start with the chin area first. This concealer has a really creamy consistency, and I love blending it out all over my chin area, and then I kind of bring it up a little bit between my smile line, and this is also going to help to blend everything together seamlessly. And then it's going to go over my little mustache area. Yes, I do have a little mustache, I'm going to allow the concealer underneath my eye area to dry down a little bit, and doing that, it allows me to get a little bit more coverage out of the concealer. So I'm just going to tap away the concealer that's on my big 5 head right here, and then drag just whatever is left over on my NYX sponge down on my nose, and then go back in on my head again. Then I'm going to turn around to the butt area, because you know you can see like little lines of demarcation right there, and then I'm just going to go around in circular motions to get rid of those little hash lines right there. After I've allowed my concealer to dry down just for maybe a minute or two, then I would go back in with my beauty sponge once again, and I would always start from the bottom area right here at the tip of my nose to blend it, and to blend it upwards. Because of the shape of my face, I always blend my concealers and contour in this direction, and this actually gives the appearance of a more sculpted face, especially if you have a more really rounded face. You really want to give the appearance of a more chiseled and slim face. Not that I want that, but you know, because of my features, because of the shape of my face, I love blending my concealers and contour in this direction, so I look more chiseled, you know. So I'm going to be blending it from the bottom, come all the way up to my under eye area, and this actually allows the concealer to not just be sitting in this area alone. You know, sometimes when you use a really creamy concealer, sometimes it takes a little while for you to actually get all of the concealer blended out, especially in this area right here. So blending it from downwards coming upwards, it actually gives you a little bit more handle on how much product is left underneath your eye area, so there's less creasing and it's much easier for you to blend. And I love to go over the concealer that I used underneath my eye on my lid area, because you guys can see, look, this versus this, my lid area is so dark. So I always love to conceal it with some of my concealer, and then I'm going to go over this area quite a bit until I'm satisfied with how everything is blended out, and then I move over to the next eye. This is where your blending technique actually comes into play. I'm going to be taking my Real Technique 200 brush. This is the Face Expert brush. Now this brush first came out with a gold handle, kind of like a gold. Actually, I would have had, yeah, when it first came out, it had a handle that looked like this. So I think they've upgraded the look, and it now has like a champagne-y chromatic type of look, and I absolutely love this. I love the color of the handle now. Not that I didn't like it before, because the whole point of the brush is for it to, you know, it's the Face Expert brush, so I wanted it to do exactly what it was supposed to do. Now I don't know if there's a lot of persons who own this brush. This brush actually helps to blend everything in place. When I'm talking about everything, I mean foundations, concealers, powders, practically everything that you apply to your face, well, except eyeshadow, of course, and lipstick. In terms of complexion products, this little baby right here helps to blend everything together. See, recently I've kind of incorporated it into my complexion routine, where I use it right after I've applied both my foundation and concealer to blend out the area seamlessly, and then I would go in with my contour. You guys already know, whenever the summer months are here, I kind of switch it up, and I kind of, you know, rest down the creamy contour, and I stick basically to just bronzer. But before we do all that, we have to set our under eye concealer in place, and then we have to set the areas where I highlighted. I have to do all that before I go into any sort of contouring. Now about a week ago, I would have I think I snapped a little Insta story where I show you guys different products that I use on my face for that particular working day, and then a few persons posed a question to me as to why I use 2 translucent setting powders. Now it's kind of similar to when you use 2 concealers to set your under eye, to highlight your under eye area. You know, some persons use a skin tone concealer to basically cover up the under eye darkness, and then they would use a concealer that's a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter I should say, to kind of brighten up the eye area. But recently, because the place is like so hot, what I've been doing is using 2 translucent powders. I've been using my Sacha Buttercup powder, and then to brighten up the area, I've been using my banana powder from Fenty Beauty. So I'm just going to show you guys real quick exactly how I've been doing that. So let me just pour a little bit of my Sacha Buttercup powder over in the cap, and then I'm going to go in with another beauty sponge. This one is actually a black Opal beauty sponge. I love the pointed area. I'm just going to tap just like this amount, and then what I'm going to do here next is basically press, and I always like to start from right here and then press it in the under eye area just like that. And then we're just going to keep pressing it until all of that translucent powder is set into the concealer. Now recently I've been kind of skipping the whole baking thing. It saves me some time, especially if I want to get out the door real quick. You know, as a working mother, you always try to find as many shortcuts as possible. So I've been kind of pressing the Sacha Buttercup powder into my skin. Now that's the first step, and then I would go in again with the Sacha Buttercup powder and just try to add just a little bit just below this area right here, and then I would just kind of leave it there just like that, not to blend all of it in. Kind of had to do this and talk at the same time. Now I've only been applying the Fenty Instant Retouch powder underneath my under eye area, and that's basically because I want that area alone because I want to add just the brightness to that area alone. So I would just apply my Sacha Buttercup powder on my forehead, drag a little bit along my nose bridge, and then apply just a little bit to my chin area, and then I make sure that all these areas that the Sacha Buttercup powder is nicely pressed in. And then I'm going to go in with my Fenty Banana powder. Take the same black Opal beauty sponge, and I'm only going to apply this amount, and what I'm going to do here is just gently press it just above the Sacha Buttercup powder, just like that. And then I'm going to take just another bit again and press it just above the Sacha Buttercup powder. Persons had the time for them to just allow both translucent powders to set and bake and all that, but as a working mother, you know, I don't have time for all that. So I'm going to take the same black Opal beauty sponge, and I'm just going to press both the Sacha Buttercup powder and the Fenty Instant Retouch powder all the way in, just to make sure that it's set. And I normally like to apply just a little bit to my lid area as well to set the concealer, because you guys already know, you can probably see a little bit of creasing going on right there, because yeah, I have oily skin, so literally everything in this area right here you would see sweat. So I just normally just go over back and forth on underneath both eyes to press both the Sacha Buttercup powder and the Fenty Instant Retouch powder in, and it adds a little bit of under eye brightness. I mean, I'm not saying that the Sacha Buttercup powder on its own or the Fenty Instant Retouch powder on its own wouldn't add the brightness, but I've kind of switched it up because I sweat a lot in my face, so I kind of try to incorporate more powders in my routine whenever these hot months hit. So it's time to contour. I'm going to go in with my Bronzeville bronzer from the Prime Beauty first, and I'm just going to line the area where I want my bronzer to show up. And this is probably one of my favorite parts about doing makeup, you know, besides highlighting, because you guys know I love a highlight. And I'm really going to just apply it in the hollow areas of my cheek, and as you guys can see, I'm staying right here in this area right here, because I really want to look more bronzed. Like, I want that area to look really bronzed. And then I'm going to blend all of that in together with my Real Technique expert brush after applying the second bronzer from Fenty. The same brush, I'm going to go into Mocha Mami from Fenty Beauty, and I'm going to start exactly where I started with Bronzeville, right in this area right here, and I'm going to go around in circular motions on my big forehead and around again to this area right here where I want my bronzer to show up. And without applying any more product to the brush, I just like to drag it along my jawline on the right side and then on the left side. And again with my Face Expert brush from Real Technique, and what I'm going to be doing here is basically kind of blending all of the lines of demarcation that you see. Now you can actually see where the contour and the highlight starts and end over on this side right here and right here. So I'm going to go in with my Face Expert brush from Real Technique, and I'm really just going to gently blend that area just so that everything ties in together. I'm going to start with this side of my face first, so you guys can see the difference between using this Face Expert brush and just using just a regular beauty sponge. Now, I'm not saying that beauty sponges don't do the same trick, but I find that whenever I use my beauty sponges, it it takes a little bit more time for me to get everything blended in. Now with this Face Expert brush, I feel like I can just do a couple of swipes and everything is just, I mean, look at this area right here. You can't see where anything starts or ends, but look at this right here. You can actually see like little lines from the highlight and the contour and the different powders right here. So I'm going to take my Face Expert brush once again and I'm just going to blend in both the translucent powder and the contour powders seamlessly in together. Sometimes when you do this, you can go in again with your contour and just maybe just do a little bit of touch up if you feel like you may have blended out a little bit of your contour a little bit too much. You can just keep going in with your contour powder and then go back in again with the Real Technique Expert Face brush. And sometimes I like to drag it over translucent powder that I've applied underneath my eye area just to make sure that everything is just tied in seamlessly. Okay, I'm just going to apply this a little bit of eyeshadow because you guys know I don't do anything over the top, and I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back to complete this flawless look. Just so you guys might be wondering, I will be putting all the items that I used and mentioned in this video down in the description box. But if you're wondering, you know, what shade I have on my eyes, I did use the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette. I used the shade Clay as my transition in color. I also used the shade Toucan and Tigress on my eyes, and then in my inner tear duct I used the shade Lioness because I was feeling very, you know. This is actually a really cute palette. I don't know why I haven't used it in any of my tutorials before. I don't know why I just had it sitting there, but these shades, let me just show you guys Toucan. Look at that. Look real quick. Look real quick. Look real quick. Look at that. Let me try another one. Let me try Tigress. Look at that. Look at that real quick. Oh my god, I feel like I'm wasting it. Right, so I grabbed my Le Bronze real quick. Like, let's just go ahead and keep with the whole bronzy theme. So I went for my Le Bronze. And I'm just going to gently tap her in right here on the highest point of my cheek. Now this is going to take a little elbow grease because of the creamy consistency of the blush. Sometimes it kind of makes the highlight stick in one place. So I like to go in with the same brush. This brush is like a multitasker, and I'm just going to go around in circular motion just to allow the highlight to kind of move around in the areas where I want it to hit. That we got some highlight. Now let's go on the other side. Okay, let me go back in with a little bit of Le Bronze. I'm just going to gently tap her right there on the highest points of my cheek. And yeah, it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to move her around with that creamy blush. Add a little bit more. 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 And then I'm just going to go in with the Face Expert brush and blend that out and make sure it's placed on the right parts of my face, like that. Yeah, I know I'm making a really ugly face right now, but yeah, sometimes the ugly face is necessary for you to get everything blended out, okay? Alright? I feel like I need more highlight. I did go in with a little bit more highlight. Clearly I have a problem. I probably need to check myself into rehab, but until then, anyway, to set everything in place, I did use my Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. By the way, I love the smell of this. If you guys don't know, this is probably one of the best skin mist slash setting spray slash prepping skin mists on the market right now. Like Farah and Sal, they're doing a great job when it comes to creating all these like skin treats from the Farsali line. I feel like this is probably one of the best ones I've used to date. This smells good and it does some really great things. You see how my highlight is popping? Just like spraying over a little bit of this Farsali skin mist over it, and it has in real 24 karat gold. Who doesn't want 24 karat gold all over their face? Get yourself a bottle of Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist, okay? Anyway, if you want to know what I'm wearing on my lip, I did apply a bit of my e.l.f. lip balm tint. It's kind of like an orangey shade, and I really did not feel like going through my drawer to look for some sort of lipstick or lip gloss or whatever. I saw this and I was like, look, I'm already wearing orange and gold, so tying with the whole theme, let's just use this orange lip tint. And I thought it looked absolutely gorgeous with the entire look. Everything just looks so good. Everything just looks. All right, ladies and gents, that is it for this tutorial. If you guys have any questions as to how I applied any of the products to my face, please be sure to drop me a comment down in the comment section. And if you happen to have enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up on your way out. Also, before I forget, I did get the Real Technique Face Expert brush from Aesthetics SKN. I think I got this for like $45. Now don't quote me on this, I might be completely off, but it was less than $50. It was less than $50, I know that for sure. I just can't remember right now off the top of my head if it was for $40 or $45. I probably have to check my receipts, and then I'll list the price down in the description box. It is the best thing ever. I'm telling you, you need this brush in your life, especially if you want to have that flawless makeup application. You know, among other things, there are a number of things that ties into having your makeup look absolutely flawless, but your tools are probably one of the biggest top 5 things that you need in order to get perfect, if not flawless, makeup application. On your way out, don't forget to click the subscribe button and also click the bell button. The bell button is going to alert you as to whenever I have a new upload on this channel. Thank you guys so much for being here with me once again. Until my next upload, I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye bye. Hello everybody, and welcome. And for real though, for real. Boy, I can't take on this heat here now. Oh, Jesus send the AC from up above. Oh my God. All right, let's start this again.